Hey, everybody. It is, what is it? It's Tuesday. You got two people here who are very, very sleep deprived, Matthew and I. Okay, it says everything football. Here's the everything football. Kansas City won last night. Okay, there's your football. Let's go to baseball, Matt. You told me in our pre-show that you turned it on and was it with ninth inning? Was it you said?
Yeah, I turned it on the bottom of the ninth.
And so then you got the back nine.
Yep. Yeah, I was able to catch the second half of Game 3 of the World Series.
It's
Just
yeah.
ridiculous.
Some of the stats of what happened last night are just amazing. There were 649 pitches thrown by 19 pitchers. Okay. Now, here's the fun part. And there's more stats, but this is what the fun part was. Major League Baseball, okay, at the 16th inning, called their warehouse in Los Angeles to bring 3 more cases of baseballs. They
Mhm.
were they were afraid that if the game went, say into the 20s, they wouldn't have enough baseballs to play.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, that's how crazy it was.
I forget what number they said, but they said they stocked the game with like I think it's like 250, 300 baseballs.
Yeah.
And you're still in danger of running out of balls in one game is insane to think about. But
Yeah. Then you've
all
got
the
the yeah. Then you've got
oh,
the 6 hours and 39 minutes. You've got four guys now getting thrown out at home plate. You have the first time in World Series history that a team, this was the Blue Jays, had players thrown out in what we would normally call, the first, second, third, and home. So for the cycle, got thrown out for the cycle. You
mm,
had defensive gems by both sides. I still don't
yeah,
understand how Vladdy, got that hand in to uh, to score at the in the first 9 innings. I mean, it's just and everybody was saying, well, the pitching is going to be tough. Man, everybody's nails.
hmm everybody like everybody that came into that game had been minimally used in the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
for good reason because in their playoff appearances thus far they'd given up a bunch of runs. Like
Sure.
they hadn't exactly pitched well. Like every single one of those guys. I think Will Klein had given up like 5.
Yeah,
uh,
hell.
Lauer was pretty solid. He's had a solid postseason. So, but the guy that they brought in before him, I mean, I don't even remember his name. Let me go look at the box score here. Fisher, both
Yeah,
Fisher and Little had been terrible,
yeah,
like the entire playoffs. And Fisher gave you 1 1/3 scoreless. Lauer gave you 4 2/3 scoreless. Jeff Hoffman went 2 innings because he had to, and then
right.
Little gives you, he gave you 1 inning. That 1 inning was scoreless, and after that, you can't really expect all that much more out of the guy that was. He's carrying a 3 ERA in there, so it's
Right.
not like he'd been great in the playoffs.
And then, you get Kershaw come in for a batter. And Dave, and when Dave was asking him, what's, you know, what do you want to do? And Kershaw said that his fastball wasn't, really working. I mean, he had, they had checked it in the bullpen,
Yeah.
and he said, he goes, I'm not going to, he goes, I know this guy. He goes, he will hit. I'm going to throw him a slider. He's going to roll over on it, and I'm going to get a ground ball.
hmm
And it's exactly what happened.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm if I'm Dave Roberts, I may be asking Clayton about his availability today.
Yeah.
See if he can go eat some innings if Shohei gets knocked around a little bit. It's going to be very interesting to see how they manage these bullpens today.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah, what about you've got Yamamoto's up throwing last night?
that surprised me honestly. For as much as it shocked everybody else, it didn't surprise me all that much. When Yamamoto was in Japan, he had a very high pitch count.
Yeah.
Like he could, I think there was like multiple outings of like 150 pitches for him.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
he's very much used to the high workload. So it honestly didn't surprise me that he told him that he was available.
Well, yesterday was his bullpen day,
Yeah.
and so they went out and he tested the old arm out and said, you know what, I feel okay. You need me, I'm here.
I will say I think it is a big plus. I know it sucks to have lost that game, but it's a
Mhm.
big plus if they didn't burn Shane Bieber last night.
Oh, that would have
Like
been a huge mistake.
if they had burned Shane Bieber and not won that game, then you feel much worse. Like
Yeah.
losing the game sucks, but the fact that you did not end up actually getting him up and moving is a big plus for them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, think about this. Your opposing pitcher for tonight was on base 9 times, hit 2 home runs, 2 doubles,
Yeah, that
and that and so if he comes out tonight and has any kind of let's say he gets 4, maybe even 5 innings. I mean, you got to say that is probably the greatest World Series ever played by a single player in history.
Yeah, I mean, he's done this postseason. I like last year there was some injury stuff, and he didn't necessarily
Right.
play like his best
Yeah.
last postseason. This postseason, he's been insane, like absolutely, utterly ridiculous. I think he has 8 home runs.
Yep.
He's hitting like 286. I think he has like a 2.98 ERA or
Yep.
something like that.
Mhm.
I think it's in the twos. You go back to that game where he hit 3 home runs, struck out 10, went through
Mhm.
6 innings. That's ridiculous. I mean, last night he set a record. That's not going to get touched. I,
Mhm.
I I don't care how the game of baseball evolves. It's going to have to turn into freaking wiffle ball where they're just hitting everything out for that record to ever be touched.
No.
9 times.
But look,
It's not going to happen.
how many times you can get nine at bats in a game?
Yeah. Not only that, but you're talking about like it's going to take another guy that you're literally just looking at and going, yeah, I'm not pitching, like I'm not losing the baseball game to this guy every single time.
Right,
Like
but
you don't
here,
even
this is where I want you. I want to get to you on this one because this is your thing too, right? Here it
Mhm.
is. Okay, what are you doing? You're walking Shohei Otani, right? Okay, got it. Fair enough. To go to Mookie Betts.
Mhm.
I mean, granted, Mookie Betts isn't having a great postseason yet, but you're
Mhm.
talking about this is a Hall of Fame guy who, was the most valuable player. You're walking a guy to get to a guy that
Mhm.
could just as easily end the game himself.
Yeah. I guess the only credit I'll give the Blue Jays is like Mookie Betts had 9 at bats last night and he reached twice. One of them was
Mm-hmm.
a walk, one of them was a hit. So you're definitely playing your odds there. But I think it's so telling that even when they had, because for 4 2/3 innings, they had the lefty advantage. Like
Yeah,
Eric Bauer lefty, like not only is he a lefty, he comes from a little bit of an odd slot. So it's not
he's a little
easy for
down. Yeah, he's a little down side almost.
yeah. So it's not easy for lefties to hit him.
Nope.
And they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't test it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody on, runner on. Like they put him on with a runner on. I know they pitched to him technically, but that was a sorry attempt of an at bat if that was any legitimate pitching and not just we're going to throw him 4 pieces of crap and hope he swings at one of them.
Yeah, but look at what I mean. If they screwed up, you know, if they if he accidentally let one slide over the plate, he could
Mm-hmm.
have in the unintentional intentional walk. He could end up getting a home run anyway.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But there was, I can't remember what inning it was. Maybe you remember. They walked Shohei, and they had a guy in third. They had walked Shohei. Then they decided to walk Mookie.
This was what was it? The bottom. I think this may have been the bottom of the ninth. I think Jeff Hoffman was still pitching.
And to go to Freddie Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was, well, we'll get a force out at every base, and you're like, man, you don't, it's like, I'm not a manager, but if there's money on the line, man, that's the man I want up. I mean, I know Shohei's fantastic. Freddie is money. I mean, Freddie has had a career.
I mean, he did it last night.
Yeah,
but that one I hated. I hate that one just because it takes out your walk. Like, you can't walk anybody, and that's really what I hate about it more than anything. Just because, like, these guys aren't guaranteed to throw 3 strikes. Like, if they grind out in a bat, they can miss 4 times very easily. So
they can foul the ball off 20 times and make you, force you to throw to them.
Yeah. So I don't love that. But it was what it was. It didn't end up biting them. That wasn't the reason they lost the baseball game. But
no,
I mean,
it was one of those games where you just couldn't, look away. Like you said earlier, that, you were on the edge of your seat the whole time. And both teams, both sides were in that same situation where there were, both fan bases were like, okay, buckle down, boys. Here we go.
Yeah. I was talking about in reference to the 2018 World Series when I was watching that oddly enough, Game 3 in Dodger Stadium that went to 18 innings. Fun note, the Red Sox and Dodgers game is technically still the longest game in World Series history.
Because the one you're talking about with the because of time, right?
No. The Red Sox Dodgers game ended on the 7th pitch of the bottom of the 18th.
Oh, okay.
Last night's game ended on the 6th pitch of the bottom of the 18th.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Random stat that doesn't matter.
It's an interesting one. Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta get your credit for that one. That is definitely an interesting one.
Yeah,
it was just wild. Yeah, absolutely wild.
Yeah,
and we talked about it. If you're a baseball fan, I know. If you're a Toronto fan, it sucks. I mean, I get it, but just what an amazing ball game from beginning to end.
Yeah, it was ridiculous game.
It's crazy, and you wonder, how do you top that, right? And it's like, what's going to happen tonight that's going to be better? Well, I don't think there's going to be anything tonight that is going to be better.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to do. Also, credit to Vladdy. He's still continuing to play just fantastic in the playoffs. I mean, he's been incredible this playoffs too.
Yep.
He didn't really come, he got on in extras once. Like, it's hard to be upset when a guy is 2 for 7, but also has 2 walks. Like, he got on 4 times in total. So you can't really be upset. It's just they got to it in the extras. It feels like they kind of lost their approach in a way, and the way that the Blue Jays go about things. Like, it feels like they were more all in a swing away mode, and that's not really the team that they are. They needed to be able to piece together some base hits, and they weren't able to do that. So I thought that was interesting. I never really felt like the Blue Jays never really felt like they put as much pressure on the Dodgers as the Dodgers were putting on the Blue Jays.
Right. Well, look, I'm not second guessing Snyder here, but I don't understand the pinch running for Bo Bichette with a guy who isn't that much faster than Bo Bichette.
Yeah, I would assume that it was probably because based on the four ABs, I would assume that it was later in the game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and maybe you're trying to sub for the defense there
Mhm.
with Kiner Falefa, but yeah, I mean, I guess they just there's also like Bo is fresh off that injury. He could have very possibly been tired.
You're right. It's possible, but my point here is Kiner Filippo, who would replace him in second base, and he's a fantastic you know defensive player, no doubt.
Hmm.
Okay, you could have kept Bo in there. As I say, Kiner Filippo's not that much faster because you lost George Springer, so you could have made you could have pushed Bo into your DH role.
Yeah, I see. I now have. I'm looking at this now. I do question what John Schneider was doing
Hmm.
yesterday because
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. Of the people he pinch hit for, so obviously he pinch hit Ty France for George Springer, and then he pinch ran uh, David Schneider for Ty France.
Hmm.
Both France and Snyder had a hit. It is what it is. George Springer didn't have any, so you plus there. In Bobichet's four at bats, he had two hits, no walks. Kiner Falefa had four at bats after Bobichet, no hits, one walk. Um, he subbed Kirk out for Heineman.
Hmm.
Heineman had three at bats, no hits, no walks, and he
Hmm.
subbed Straw in for Barger. Barger had two hits. Straw had four ABs, no hits, no walks. The pinch hitters that he subbed in, and
Hmm.
I'm sure that he was probably playing some kind of a matchup game with those guys. None of them got hits, and they all had plenty of attempts. The only dudes to get a hit were Ty France and Schneider,
Right.
and that's in they're in three at bats apiece. So the offensive subs that were made did not end up panning out for the Blue Jays in the long run.
Well, the other thing that I found interesting was that he had. We're talking about Snyder now.
Hmm.
Snyder Snyder had Snyder had used all of his players by the 12th inning. His bench.
Yeah,
I mean, there wasn't a single person he kept on the bench, and it wasn't like, yeah, he did pinch hit, but he there was a ton of pinch running going on.
yeah. I don't love that strategy that they had yesterday because, and you think about the work that Will Klein did
Mm-hmm.
there in those last four innings. Will
Yeah.
Klein's a right-handed pitcher. He subbed all those bats he subbed out were lefty bats.
Right. Correct.
Some of the, with the exception of Bo Bichette, all the bats that were subbed because they were lefty bats. So I think looking back, that's obviously a little bit of a hindsight thing, but still, that's ridiculous. You took all your lefties out for all your righties, and now if they have a righty, which they did have a majority of,
Mm-hmm.
with the exception of Clayton Kershaw, come the end of that game, you're in a disadvantage lineup wise all the way down the card.
Right. You're not helping yourself at all.
Nope.
And so, yeah, I mean, I was, you kind of sit back and say, okay, look, I'm not going to play armchair manager, but there were
Hmm.
just some things during that time where you could see that Dave Roberts, you know, from the time he was with the Red Sox now to the time he's with the Dodgers, just doesn't panic. He just keeps, okay, I know he knows his team, he trusts his team, and there you go. I mean, that's all
Yeah.
he wants. No problem. He basically understands and trusts that they'll get it done.
Yeah. I tweeted. I will say, just in terms of this that I thought about. I tweeted out last night after the game ended. I said
Hmm.
Atlanta fans are going to wake up like punch in the air, hating life because you had that guy, the guy that's had like career defining moments and now back to back World Series. He was in
Right.
Atlanta. He was willing to sign in Atlanta. You guys just didn't want to match the number. I'd say that's frustrating. Like, and the reason that was given for not matching Freddie Freeman's number was his age and the potential decline that Freddie Freeman might face. And all he's done is go out there and produce. In the 4 seasons that he's been in LA, he's given him 22.2 WAR. Like, he's
That's
been
the
an
thing.
animal.
That is just not. That's not that. You just you sit back and go, what in the world are we watching here? I mean,
Yeah.
this is a guy who is, you know, I back in the for those who remember the the Big Red Machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was the guy who you didn't want up, and they had Johnny Bench, they had Pete Rose, they had all those Griffey, they had all those guys. You didn't want
Mm-hmm.
Tony Perez up because he
Yeah.
was going to, regardless of what the pitch, who it didn't matter who was pitching. If you needed a a hit, Tony Perez is the guy that you didn't want to see because he's going to
Yep.
get it. He was a
Mm-hmm.
professional hitter. Freddie
Yep.
Freeman is a professional hitter. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he will wait till he gets his pitch. And he's, in the post game interview, they said, well, what about, because he thought he had one the last time that he was at bat, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the time before. And he hit it. The problem is in Los Angeles, you've got that marine layer, right? Where after about 8:15, 8:30, it starts to get, kind of misty, right? It's not rain, but it's kind of like fog that rolls off the ocean, right? Now in San
Yep.
Francisco, we know it because you see it. It's fog. You don't see it as
Yep.
much in Los Angeles. It's just basically the air becomes a little heavy, and it's a lot harder to hit home runs after about 8:15, 8:30, and beyond
Mm-hmm.
in both in Los Angeles, Anaheim, and frankly down in San Diego as well. Um, so I mean, he hit it as hard as he could. It just happened
Yeah.
not to get there. And the funny thing was, he thought the ball that he hit that ended up being the home run was that he didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he wasn't the only Dodger last night that had a home run stolen by that marine layer. Teoscar
yeah,
Hernandez and Will Smith had them. Like,
right,
they
absolutely,
both believed, like, when it came off the bat so much, like, they pimped them. They thought they
oh
were
yeah,
going home, and it just killed them. It killed them both, and they were going through the numbers.
mhm.
Both of them had like an 85+% chance of being a hit or whatever
Yeah,
with the exit velo and launch angle, and those just happened to not be, pretty much.
yeah,
So they would have been home runs in the middle of the day. They would
yeah,
have been home runs at 6,
right.
honestly.
I was gonna say if anytime get once you hit that witching hour of a little bit behind, once you get past that little bit of around 8:30 or so, then you're in trouble. But at the end of the
Hmm.
day, they were not in trouble. I mean, they
Yeah.
played it, they did it well, they ended up winning, and kudos to them. But you do have to wonder how both teams are going to react today. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just going to be a mess.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's not like, I know people will say like this just gives the Dodgers such a shot in the arm, which it very much could. But
mhm.
like, for as much as a shot in the arm, like, they both had to endure that game. It's not like, yeah, the Dodgers came out on top, but they show up to the ballpark, one and the same. They're both tired. Their bullpens are both thin. They got to rely on their guy, and if Shane Bieber's better than Shohei Otani, then it doesn't matter what happened last night today.
Mhm. Well, the old adage, you're only as good as your next day starting pitcher, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
Shane Bieber was sitting in the dugout watching the game, and Shohei Otani was on the bases 9 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was off his feet, but not as he was engaged. I mean, mentally, you have to be strong, and so
Mm-hmm.
he was focused on that. So today, he'll have to be strong to focus on his pitching. And
Yeah,
and so you're right. I mean, it could be a good day for Shane Bieber. We don't know.
yeah. For as good as Shohei Otani is,
Hmm.
if there's ever going to be a time where he shows that he's human, because he hasn't really shown that in the playoffs thus far,
Right.
it's going to be today. Like I get it. He's been great pitching and hitting throughout the entire postseason. Being on base 9 times, taking 9 at bats is a lot.
Hmm.
It is like it's a lot. And then now you're doing that and asking him to go out there and pitch and hit too. Like he's still doing both of them today.
Yeah.
So it'd be understandable if fatigue is going to catch up to him. It would be today.
Right. It's it's you wonder, is this going to be the day that that he shows that maybe at least for a day he's human.
Mm-hmm. And if he goes out there and gives you a little bit of a clunker on the mound,
Yeah.
you really can't be all that upset.
Oh no, no. Yeah. Well, what the hell? Hero today, goat tomorrow. It's one of those kind of things. Um, we talking about Freddie Freeman just for a minute, and you're talking about the Atlanta fans, wanting to punch the air, if not
Mhm.
members of the front offices of the Braves. Um, people do forget Freddie is from the LA area,
Yeah.
and it took them a while because I mean, he actually had called them and said that he would be willing to renegotiate, right? And
Hmm.
Atlanta said no. So it's like, okay, well, I guess then I'll have to be going out to the Dodgers and see how that works out. It turned out that at the time, his father was not doing well. He was ill, and thank God everything went well in that regard. And Dad was turned out to be in good shape, which is fantastic. Um, but he came to a point where the people, for the same reason the people in Atlanta loved him, is the same reason that the people you know in LA loved him. He's just a guy. He's not a he doesn't he's Freddie Freeman baseball player. He's not Freddie Freeman superstar. Has to be coddled and talked to and done in a way that for all intents and purposes, he's just not one of the guys. That isn't the case with
Yeah.
Freddie.
Yeah. Yeah. He's very simple.
Yeah.
That's not. I know some people may think that's an insult. It's very much not an insult.
No.
Just an absolute non-problem.
Yeah.
Shows up, doesn't make any noise, hits 280 and 30 homers a year, and shows up when you need him most. Heads
Right.
back to the house.
Right.
So
One of the things that they said last night, and I think it bears interest, um, and that is that um, after the game in the in the locker room, Buster Olney said that he said, the Dodgers locker room during the playoffs last year and this year, win or lose, he said, it's like a little league. It's like going to Williamsport and covering Little League. He said,
yeah.
they just like being with each other. He said there's family in there. There's wives and kids, and everybody just likes being in a part of the Dodgers. And he said he was talking about Teoscar Hernandez, right? Teoscar
Hmm.
Hernandez turned down $75 million more by three different teams to stay
Yeah.
with the Dodgers.
Yeah. I mean, it's just they've built, like, for as much as people want to talk about the money aspect of what the
Right,
Dodgers have built, a lot of it has to do with what they've built in terms of the clubhouse and the
right.
management and the ownership and the front office. Like all of it, it's a very cohesive thing. Like they've got
Mhm.
a very fluid running machine over there in LA, and it makes players want to come play. That's that's just what it makes them. It's a fun environment where you win
Mm-hmm.
and you feel comfortable. And so yeah, it's when you're dealing in that kind of money, you can leave money on the table because of where you are. It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing in like we've talked about all these head coaching searches,
Mm-hmm.
and like we've talked about it with Lane Kiffin in particular. Sometimes it's worth when you're dealing in as much money. Sometimes it's worth taking what
Mm-hmm.
is still a large sum of money that you're leaving behind technically to be where you want to be and to be where you're comfortable.
Right. And you'll give people a hometown discount because
Hmm.
what's going to happen is at the end of the day, you're going to get paid, right? It's not like you're not getting paid.
Yep.
The other part of the equation is, is that you're also going to get, an opportunity for making postseason money, which is going
Hmm.
to make get you more. And you're in the second largest media market in the country, so you're going to get endorsement opportunities.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's to me, it's like, and then you've got Andrew Friedman and and Stan Kasten, who many of the Braves fans remember, um, because it was Kasten and Sherholz that built, basically took that franchise from a joke to an actual, winning franchise where they won, I think it was 14 out of 15 straight division titles in the
Yeah, it
East.
was it's been some ridiculous number.
Yeah.
It was yeah, they went on a ridiculous run there for a while.
So, I mean, you gotta look at that and go, wow, this is pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And and good on them for doing it. But
Hmm.
you know that's the kind of way they've done it. They were very good at doing something that a lot of people don't do. And this goes back to Andrew Friedman when he was a 32-year-old kid who, the Tampa Bay Rays made their, general manager because they were cheap. Um,
Hmm.
a lot of people will remember a guy by the name of Ben Zobrist, and
Yep.
Ben Zobrist could play six positions. If you look at that team, right, the Dodgers,
Mhm.
look at how many positions Mookie plays. Look at how
Yeah.
many positions Kiki Hernandez plays. I mean, they've got a team which is, basically made up of, Swiss Army knives of professional baseball. They'll play anywhere. You need a
Yeah.
guy, great, we got him. With the exception of a second catcher, I mean, or a third catcher, they're pretty
Yeah.
much all nailed down what they need to do.
Yeah. I mean, like talk about Tommy Edman can play a couple different positions. Max
Yeah,
Muncy can
that's
play a
true.
couple different positions. I think Freddie's one of the only ones that you say is locked in. Similar with Shohei, like he's
Yeah.
always going to DH. Those are the only two guys that I think are like 1,000,000,000% penciled in. They are going to play that position night in and night out for the Dodgers.
Well, I think too. One of the things that I was impressed with was that, hell, even both the Hernandez, right? They
Hmm.
swap. They swap corner outfields. Sometimes you'll get,
Yeah,
sometimes you'll get, Kiki Hernandez will play right, and sometimes the left side of the diamond will be taken care of by Theo Oscar. So even the guys who are outfielders, and it's I know if you're not really a baseball fan, you may not understand, but switching from left field to right field is a big difference.
yeah, it can be. I will say if there's going to be a place where you can do it seamlessly,
Mm-hmm.
Dodger Stadium is the place because it's
Yeah.
like it's pretty cut copy and paste
Cavernous.
for yeah throughout the outfield. So you get a somewhat similar look in terms of like the structure of the field at least
Mm-hmm.
from the left and right field. corners.
Yeah. Um, it's really more the Sun field
Yeah.
in that regard. And then there's you know, um, Teoscar's arm's a little better.
Mm-hmm.
They both have great arms, but Teoscar's a little
Yeah.
better. So that's why you'll see sometimes if they feel that he's better suited to go to right field because that's the way they need to make him make it easier for him
Mhm.
to play, then they'll do it. And I think that's part of the beauty of this whole thing is that they get it done right, and they do
Yeah.
it
I would assume that they probably view one of their defense like they either think Teoscar or Kike is better defensively,
right. Mm-hmm.
and if they're playing a pull lineup, if they're playing a pull lineup that's full of lefties, then they're probably going to play Teoscar in right, and if they're playing a pull lineup full of righties, then they'll probably play Teoscar in left.
That's exactly
So
what they do. So you crack the code. Yeah, that's definitely what they've been doing, and it's been working for them.
yeah, like a couple relays I think from right field last night. I know one of them cut down, what was it, Ernie Clement or Davis
Yeah.
Schneider at the plate. Oh, Jim's gone on mute.
I'm back. I had a little audio issue here. No, it was Teoscar who threw a guy out at home plate, and they just go. What is from a pitching standpoint? Who in the what's going on with regard to when you were watching last night? Which one impressed you the most of the relief pitchers for both teams?
Obviously, you got Will Klein that gave him 4 innings as like a career performance for him, like a game that I would say, especially if they win, but either way, that should be remembered in terms of World Series performances. Like this is a guy that had no business throwing 4 innings of shutout baseball. He'd only ever thrown 2 innings. Like that was his max. He doubled his innings. He doubled his pitches ever thrown, and he did it scoreless. It was ridiculous. I mean, Enriquez, he hadn't been fantastic. Obviously, Sheehan gave him 2 2/3, another really good one. He struggled a little bit more, gave up 3 hits, 2 walks, and after that, they only issued 1 hit and 2 walks, and those numbers came off of Klein.
Mm-hmm.
But ridiculous stuff from Klein. Like, talk about needing it most. He showed up in the biggest moment, and I mean
Mm-hmm.
the Blue Jays bullpen did the same thing. Like Eric Lauer gave him 4 2/3, 2 hits, 4 walks. Fisher gave him 1 1/3, 1 hit, 1 walk. Hoffman gave him 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were really good too. They gave up a little bit more traffic, but still, they got the job done inning in, inning out. And I'd say Lauer's probably the most that they'll thank because he ate up essentially 5 innings of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So he did the most work in terms of saving really Shane Bieber for tomorrow.
Yeah, give him at least a fighting chance.
Yeah.
And we got to wonder. Okay, so Shane Beavers, what do you do if how many innings? And this is just a guess by both of us, but how many innings do you think Otani will be able to literally give him tonight?
I would be surprised if he gave them more than 5.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be hard for them to get more than. I was gonna say 4. If they get 4, I think they'd be happy.
Yeah, just because like fatigue is very much a factor, and he's not been giving you a ton of length anyways.
Right.
And so when you're still asking him to hit, and again, all that he did last night, You're asking a lot if you're asking for more than 4 or 5 innings out of him.
Mm-hmm. And I
I
think
think I think
go ahead.
I was about to say I think Bieber can give the Blue Jays 7 at least.
He might be able to. I mean, it's just it depends on how tired the Dodgers hitters are.
Yeah,
I mean, because
yeah,
that's what it's going to be. I mean, if everybody's sleepwalking their way through this, it's not going to be simple. But
no, I
this is a night that if you're going to get the Dodgers, um, from a standpoint of hitting, getting rid of knocking them off, this is your night to do it because they got to be tired from what happened.
yeah. So I'll give you this. So the last time this happened
Hmm.
in the Red Sox and Dodgers World Series,
Hmm.
there were 15 runs scored the next day.
Really?
So the hitters weren't tired. The pitchers apparently were.
Well, that kind of actually makes sense.
Yeah. Now, what I will say is looking at this frame by frame, they were scoreless through 5.
Hmm.
So it took them a little while to get going, but once they got going, they ripped off 15 runs in 4 innings.
Well, we know from what has happened in the past that that um, Toronto's capable of putting big numbers on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So no one should be surprised if that happens tonight.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, I really think it's going to be who gets to the bullpen faster.
Hmm.
Like if the if the Blue Jays are able to chase Shohei Otani relatively early, like if you're able to get him out of there before around 3 innings, I think that's a big win because
Hmm.
both of you had to use the entirety of your bullpen. There is nobody that has not pitched, so their bullpen has also struggled in the postseason. They've got to be tired. So the faster you get to that bullpen, I think
Hmm.
the sooner your scoring is going to start.
Oh, 100%. And the sooner it's going to be easier to to make it work for you, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's
because
I think everybody's at a point. If you're, like we said, we're baseball fans. We enjoy watching it. It's really going to be a lot of fun to watch what happens. Come tomorrow, or come tomorrow, come tonight. When these two teams square off again.
yeah,
And
I mean,
I said before I thought it was going to go 6, and I still think it will. And I think they're going to go back to see each other in. They're going to see each other again in Toronto. Uh,
mhm,
it's just going to be fun to see what's going on.
yeah. Well, you think about that. What I just read off about 2018 said it was scoreless through 5.
Yeah.
The starters were probably in through about 5 innings,
Who
and
started?
then
Who started in this game? Do you know?
in Game 3 of 2018 or
Yeah,
in Game 4 of 2018.
the one that you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see here. I should have it here relatively. Wow. All right. There's so hang on. Rich Hill started the game for the Dodgers.
Oh, okay. It's a name out of the past.
Yep. And for the oh boy, what in the world? Hang on, view game recap. I can't get like a definitive starting pitcher matchup on this
For
for the 2018 game for some reason.
what
Here,
game was it?
here we go. I've got the ESPN link now.
Okay.
So I'll figure it out. Eduardo Rodriguez started for the Red Sox, and yes, Rich Hill did start for the Dodgers. Rich Hill went 6 1/3. Eduardo Rodriguez went 5 2/3. So the Red Sox bullpen gave up 2 runs, and the Dodgers bullpen gave up 8 of the 9 runs allowed in
Hmm.
that game. So the Dodgers bullpen was the one that faltered a little bit more, and it was the Red Sox starter in that game. So it I still think it relies on the bullpen though. How fast are you able to get there?
Yeah, it's you know, and at the other side of the coin is I remember, I mean, this game got over. I know it was 2:35, something like that. Because
Hmm.
I remember looking at the clock and going, "What the hell was I doing?" It's like, but I
Yeah,
couldn't go to sleep. It was just too good. Um,
yeah,
and I'm thinking, so they go to the bull. I'm still listening to the post game show, and it's almost 3 o'clock, and so I think it was, I forget who it was. I think it was Freddie Freeman said, we have to be back here in 12 hours." Um, he said, "So I'm going to go home and go to sleep." A couple of the guys just said they weren't leaving. They were just going to go to sleep there.
yeah. I mean, I guess if you're going back, like if you don't have a family, you don't
Right.
really have anything like calling you home. Yeah, I'd probably sleep there too.
Well, I mean, if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, you want to get on the bus and go, you know, go. Well, the one good thing about you know about going back to your hotel at 3 o'clock in the morning is that you don't have to worry about traffic from that
Hmm.
standpoint. But man, you know, if you a game like that, right? Whether you win it or you lose it, I don't know that I can just go home and go to sleep.
No, yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I mean, like the adrenaline you have to imagine, like for Freddie Freeman in particular,
Yeah,
you have to imagine it wasn't easy just to go home and try to fall asleep.
right. Yeah,
I just don't think it's possible. So
he
I will
probably
give,
drove around half of Los Angeles last night.
yeah. What I will say is for everybody, it's like, wow, I can't believe all those people stayed for so long. Like in LA, it wasn't even midnight yet. Like, yeah, it was a late game, but it
Hmm.
wasn't like they were over here on the East Coast where it was like
Right,
2:45 when the game ends.
right.
So yes, they did stay for a very long time at Dodger Stadium, but it wasn't as much of a grind for them in terms of how late they were staying.
No, no.
I'm
And
sure.
in all fairness, Dodger fans get a lot get a lot of grief from because you get people who say they got the early. Uh, Hang on a second, we got some stuff. Tyler, anyone in the stranglehold of college football? I'll get to you on that. Um, we'll get back in that second. Shohei Otani is a dog. Hey, you know what? He is. He is. He's one of a kind. He's more of a dog. He's more of a unicorn. But he is definitely going uh, to basically, if we're lucky, you know what, guys? If we're lucky, we'll get to see Shohei Otani for a number of years. I mean, that's how I see it.
Hmm. Yeah,
What
'cause
you're
even
watching here is absolute and total. Absolute and total historic type situations. It's just this. They call him the unicorn, and honestly, I believe it is. It's just
mhm,
something that you want to look at and go, I can't believe what I'm watching.
yeah, yeah, he's ridiculous. I mean, like it's a complete baseball player in the sense that he can run, pitch,
Mhm.
hit all so well. He has a really great feel of the game, and also, I don't want to hear about Babe Ruth being the greatest player of all time. Babe Ruth could not hold Otani's jockstrap. Babe Ruth was hitting. He was hammering 16 beers, showing up at the ballpark and hitting 220 feet home runs at Polo Grounds.
Mhm.
And then they built a customized stadium with a shorter porch for him. Like
Mhm.
Shohei Otani's hitting it out of Dodger Stadium
Yeah.
on a consistent basis, and he's throwing close to 100. Like they are not comparable.
No, I mean, a couple of things. Eras, of course, have a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
That was in the 1930s. It was dead ball era. He was hitting. Well, they played day games in those days. They didn't play any night games,
Hmm.
which is why he showed up the next day, not necessarily in the best of health. Um, and then the other element is, and let's just get to what the truth of the matter is, and that is there was no diversity in baseball at that point in time.
Yeah.
You know, I know my grandfather saw Josh Gibson play for the Homestead Grays,
Hmm.
and he told me there is no question in his mind that, and he also, by the way, saw Babe Ruth play.
Yeah.
Um, and he said there's no doubt in his mind that Josh Gibson was, if Josh Gibson played baseball in the, in Major League Baseball at that time, Josh Gibson would have hit more home runs than Babe Ruth.
Yeah. That also would not surprise me whatsoever.
So I mean, we no, there's no there's no comparable to Otani, um, because how do you have a guy who can hit as well as he does? You get your starting pitcher for the day, the next day, hits 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and gets intentionally walked 5 times.
Yeah.
That's a
Ridiculous.
stat line, no pitcher ever has.
Mm-mm.
So
Yeah. No.
amazing. Well, tell you what, let's
Put up.
take this. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he's just put up like two historic performances in one playoffs, like
Right.
performances that are almost irreparable. They cannot be replicated.
No, and
So
if you are in an area in where you can ever watch this guy play, having seen him a number of times, he is amazing. He is a guy who comes out early, signs autographs, um, takes batting practice, which that in alone I'd pay just to watch him take batting practice, um,
hmm
and just enjoys um, enjoys playing baseball, and so that's why I hope he sticks around for a long time,
yeah,
because we need more of that. We need more people who enjoy baseball. All right, we're gonna take one
absolutely.
real quick football question here, and that question comes from Jerry. Hey, Jerry, it's good to see you. Can anyone ever end ESPN's stranglehold as in college football? The answer to that question is yes. Colleges, I mean conferences. They don't have a stranglehold on the Big Ten. All right, that they don't have, and that was by design. Big Ten had gotten pissed off at ESPN. They didn't, it was kind of a mutual dislike of each other. And ESPN, I'm sorry, Fox, NBC, CBS decided, okay, we're going this way. I can assure that CBS would have liked to stay with the SEC, but the SEC and ESPN became very adamant about how they were going to work the deal, and the deal was not giving CBS what they had gotten in the past, which
Yeah,
was first choice of the 3:30 game, and the potential of having um, a, they had the deal that ESPN has now with the SEC would have taken away any opportunity that CBS would have had to play a primetime game, which is something that CBS had talked to them about. So
mm,
when the SEC chose not to take their money, they found another place that did. So yeah, they didn't get what they wanted, but they got what they needed. So can it be broken? It can be broken if the conferences want it to be broken. I don't. That being said, I mean, I'm not throwing shade on ESPN. They're doing what they're doing. It's a business decision, and um, after a while, it is what it is. With ESPN Plus, there's a there's a lot of teams with ESPN Plus that would never probably be seen on television. So depending upon where you are and what team you're rooting for, um, if you're some of these smaller schools, I guarantee you wouldn't be you would not be able to watch your team play football. So it's a double-edged sword with ESPN. You either like them or you don't, and some obviously do, and some obviously don't. Um,
Mhm.
I I personally, having had a history with both ESPN and obviously the Big Ten, I have great respect for both of them. I think that you know it's a market, right? It's like anything else. It's what the market will bear, and if you know what you want, and I don't think that anybody at the SEC could ever say that ESPN had not done for them exactly what they had hoped they could do.
Yeah,
I mean, they've treated them well, and it's served both of them well. It served the network well. It served ESPN, the SEC well. So why would you screw up a perfectly good relationship?
I bet CBS still wishes they took the deal they had with the SEC on the table.
Well, I think that they might, but the problem was that they weren't. If you're not going to get if you're going to pay the amount of money that they were being asked to pay and not get what you want, then
Yeah,
you got to say, okay, well, I'm not going to get what I want, so I'm just going to go and do what I have to do, and that's I'll take I'll take the afternoon window in the Big Ten.
yeah,
So I don't think he has. I mean, I don't think CBS. I think what happened was that ESPN and specifically ESPN ABC wanted they wanted the ESPN. I'm sorry, they wanted the SEC all to themselves,
yeah.
and they were willing to pay for it.
Hmm.
So if that's the case, then you can't blame CBS. I mean,
No.
if they're not being given the opportunity to get what they wanted. And remember that CBS and SEC had a long term contract deal. I mean that
Yeah,
relationship was a very good one for a very long time.
yeah, it was.
And so you know that's why I said I'm sure that they didn't want to get out of it, but there's also I know it's hard to believe, but networks do have budgets, and so when the deal came out, ESPN ABC was willing to overpay, and CBS is in a position with Paramount Plus and with a bunch of different things they got going on now. They're being sold. That they didn't want to take on extra cash that a potential buyer was gonna turn around at the end and say, what did you invest in that for? So they were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So, in fairness to CBS, it wasn't as much CBS not wanting the SEC; it's more of the SEC wanting that exclusive deal that they got with ESPN. Which, you know, say what you will about ESPN, they they lock down everything that is SEC, and they protect the shield really pretty well.
Yeah,
So if I'm an SEC fan, I'm not upset that ESPN and ABC is doing what they're doing for me and with me.
yeah. No, no. As an SEC fan, you can't be. They've put you in the national stage week in and week out on
Mhm.
the preeminent pregame show. You are the most talked about conference, so
Mhm.
you dominate the media market, really.
Well, and normally 2 out of their 3 time slots that they have, you're in it.
Hmm.
So where exactly? I mean, you've got your own network, which you own half of it, so you're making money off of that. You're making money off of the new deal, and you're doing well with regard to the fact that um, you're either going to get ABC or ESPN as in every slot. You're never
Yeah.
going to, you're never going to get relegated to to the SEC network.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the big games. The big games will be,
Oh yeah.
you're gonna get prime whatever. If it's ABC, you're gonna get ABC. If it's ESPN, you're gonna get ESPN. You're definitely not gonna get sidelined like you know, I think the Big 12 would probably would argue that maybe they're not getting what they thought they were going to get with the deal with ESPN or Fox for that. But
Yeah.
both of them they know they know where the money's at, and the
Yeah.
money's either with SEC or it's with the Big Ten. And
But
ESPN got a lockdown on that. Fox didn't get a lockdown on the Big Ten. They sold off to NBC and to CBS, but they're happy with what they got, and I think NBC's pleased with what they have. SEC on ESPN, I think they're happy. The ACC, not they're happy, but they're not. They'd like more money. So wouldn't we all, right? As the old saying goes.
yeah.
So yeah, to take the longest possible answer to your short question, I don't think ESPN is the Antichrist. I think that they just you have to understand, business is business. Conferences make these deals. Networks offer them money, and if they take it, they take it.
Yep.
So it's hard to blame the network for something that others it's a way it's life in the big city. You have to take it or don't. So anyway, um, well, Matt, I think what we should do is bid fond farewell to everyone this afternoon. Get in a little rest because we're going to need it, and hopefully not see an under 18 inning game tonight.
Yeah. I'm rooting for 9.
Nine's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
9.
happy.
I wouldn't be upset with a swift 9 either.
A 2 hour and 40-minute one, right?
Yeah.
Get it over by 10 o'clock. Yeah, that'll be good. That would be good. I think that even last night, even the broadcasters were getting a little punchy after a while.
Yeah. Yeah. They were. I think they were a little ready to hit the road. They got fruit delivered.
Yeah, it's at that point in time, you would hope. It was quite an affair. All right, well, enjoyed the game last night, folks. We're gonna have some fun tomorrow, of course. Wednesday we'll get ready for we got college football, Thursday night football, one more baseball game before they head back to Toronto, and so we'll have some fun. Thank you all so much for joining, and we will be back tomorrow to see you. Take care, everybody.